How are you guys? I think you are doing very well. I wish you a very happy new year. What I have brought you today is not a movie, but a TV series. The name of it is Breaking Bad. You can also watch the story. Anyway, today's video gives a summary of this story. Season 1. A suffering inordinate council chemistry school teacher, Walter White Bryan Cranston, is honored with inoperable, superior lung most cancers. On an experience alongside together on with his DEA agent family in regulation Hank Schrader Dean Norris, Walter sees a former pupil of his, Jesse Pinkman Aaron Paul, fleeing the scene of a meth lab. He laterally connections Jesse and devises a scheme to turn out to be companions in an pass to integrate their bets to fabricate and distribute methamphetamine, with Walter cooking the product and Jesse the operation of his Avenue connections to distribute it. Walter says he desires to offer financial balance for his pregnant woman, Skylar Anagun, and impaired son, and to pay for his high-priced most cancers treatment. During Walter and Jesse's first days of promoting Albuquerque's stylish meth, they come upon a chain of issues with neighborhood medicine merchandisers. Walter takes to promoting the meth he produces to a neighborhood drug lord, Taco Salamanca Raymond Cruz, the operation of the alias Heisenberg. Season 2. Walter maintains to detect himself going through invincible clinical payments from his utmost cancers treatment. Despite having had multitudinous awful stories at the same time as generating meth with Jesse, Walter concurs to return his mate. The launched generating meth still run into further than one issues. Jesse's confidant Badger Mal Jones is arrested at the same time as promoting meth in a sting operation. Walter hires an attorney, Saul Goodman Bob Odenkirk, to help Badger. Walter and Jesse power arrest Otto into the nature and bring meth for 4 days. Latterly, Combo, every other of Jesse's musketeers and distributors, is killed with the aid of using a rival gang for promoting meth of their home. Saul shows the two discover a new distribution model. Throughout this, Jesse has been constructing a dating together along with his neighbor and landlord, Jane Margulis Ritter. Jane, who is a gaining addict, relapses and the two launch doing heroin. Saul unearths them a brand new marketable enterprise mate, Gus Fring Giancarlo Esposito, who is inclined to pay $1.2 million for the 38 kilos of meth they produced. Walter fleetly grants the product to Gus, still misses his son's birth. Walt withholds Jesse S1/2 of the cash due to his medicine use, still Jane unearths out roughly it and blackmails Walt. Walt visits Jesse's hearthstone and substantiations Jane overdosing and choking on her veritably own heave, still perceiving her as an adversary, sits actively beside her and weaken her bones. Skylar confronts Walter roughly his common absences and offenses. She starts a fob to piece inclusively his riddle actuality and needs that they separate. Season 3. Walter needs to reunite his own circle of cousins, still Skylar continues to be suspicious of Walter's 2D actuality. Walter believes he can mend the anxiety among them with the aid of confessing to her that he has been generating meth. Skylar is floored with the aid of using the concession and needs a proper divorce. Meanwhile, Gus gives to pay Walter's 3M for 3 months of his service. He indeed gives to offer Walter with a rearmost manufacturing installation and an atrocious lab adjunct, Gail David Costabile. Jesse is persisting with to supply and promote meth with the aid of using himself. Hank is running with the DEA to probe Jesse and is sluggishly collecting evidence to make an arrest. He survives an assassination try made with the aid of using Tucko's binary relatives and manages to kill one in all his assaulters and significantly injure the other, who latterly dies with inside the sanitarium. Hank suffers important injuries still survives. Jesse threatens to file Walter to the police if he is arrested, still Walter gives him Gail's part on the lab. After acquiring the part, Jesse starts a fob stealing meth from the lab and promoting it in riddle at the side. Jesse receives romantically upset with a girl who meets in his rehab institution and learns her youth family, age 11, changed into deposited up with the aid of using Gus and his Avenue merchandisers to kill Combo. Jesse makes a decision to retaliate Quintet. Walter aids Jesse in escaping from Gus's wrath. Gus starts a fob to lose accept as true within Walter and asks Gail to take over the lab. He orders his henchmen to kill Walter and Jesse. After he is abducted with the aid of using the henchmen, Walter instructs Jesse over the TEL-SL smartphone to kill Gail with the intention to press Gus now no longer to kill Walter and, with the aid of using extension, Jesse, lest he remove his most effective ending educated druggist. Season 4. Jesse follows Walter's commands and murders Gail. Gus makes a decision to address the two with the aid of using assessing stricter rules on the lab. He also attempts to intrude Walter and Jesse's fellowship with the aid of assigning them to resolve Oil's details. While Walter works with inside the meth lab, Jesse escorts Mike Jonathan Banks, one in all Gus's enforcers, to recoup bills and offer back over. Walter and Jesse turn out to be more and more remote from, and negative to, every other. Meanwhile, Hank, who has been gaining from his ultimate engagement with the combination, unearths proof linking Gale to Gus. He believes Gus is a high medicine distributor and begins evolved searching out palpable evidence to report charges. Gus realizes Walter's near ties with Hank may want to peril his whole operation. Gus fires Walter and informs him Hank can be killed. He also warns Walter that if he intervenes his whole own circle of cousins can be boggled. Jesse and Walter deposited their variations piecemeal and conform to homicide Gus, satisfying former combination enforcer Hector Salamanca to crown the self-murder lemon. Hector succeeds on this bid, killing himself, Gus, and Tyrus, Gus's henchman. Walter and Jesse also wreck the meth lab and Walter announces to his woman, "I won." Season 5. Following Gus Fring's demise, Walter companions with Jesse and Mike to produce a brand new meth manufacturing and distribution operation. Mike handles all marketable enterprise factors of the cooperation, at the same time as Walter and Jesse oils with a crew of Hearthstone fumigators to supply meth-intended houses. Hank and the DA are able to pick out 9 jail convicts and 1 attorney with crook ties to Mike. Walter kills Mike, and is nervous that the snitchers will turn on Walter's operation and view that Mike is now no longer able to pay them to save quiet. He hires Jack Tucker, the chief of a neo-Nazi gang, to kill the 10 snitchers from inside jail. Walter's marketable enterprise maintains disencumbered till he makes a decision to retire after accruing $80 million, which he buries with inside the nature. Latterly, Hank is invited to the Whites' home, wherein he by accident stumbles upon one in all Walter's books with an inked communication from Gale Boetticher. He realizes that Walter is the notorious Heisenberg and intimately restarts the disquisition. Hank bureaucracy an alliance with Jesse, who now despises Walter for all his wrongdoings. Left without options, Walter hires Jack formerly further to homicide Jesse. Walter tries to defy Jesse with inside the nature, still as a cover Hank traps and apprehensions him. The neo-Nazi gang arrives and engages Hank in a fierce attack. Jack executes Hank no matter Walter's pleas. Jesse is captured and impelled into slavery, generating meth for the gang. Before leaving, Jack and his gang take a maturity of Walter's cash, leaving him with utmost effectives $11 million. Skylar and Walter Jr. are to stray over Hank's demise and save Walter responsible. They refuse to go down Albuquerque with Walter and as a cover touch the police. Walter spends the following multitudinous months hiding in a cabin in New Hampshire at the same time as suffering with utmost cancers. He returns to New Mexico with the intention to go to his own circle of cousins one veritably last time and searching for vengeance in opposition to Jack. Latterly that night, Walter executes all the gang's contributors and frees Jesse, who escapes from the emulsion before then the police arrive. Walter realizes he is mortally wounded from the projectile and sluggishly succumbs to his damage because the police seek the emulsion. We aren't perfect? Thank you watching us. Please subscribe my channel.